The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Welcome to Haymaker Combat Sports, powered by Belly Up Sports Media Network. I'm your host, EJ Reed, joined by my fellow hosts, Steve Johnson, Chris Sanders, and this is a Quickie edition, getting everybody ready, previewing the Canelo Crawford coming up this weekend. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good, man.
How you doing, Chris?
Good, man. Happy Sunday, everybody. Football is running back, so, sports is coming all around. Soon basketball will be here, and we'll have a full schedule of everything.
Yeah, it's that time of the year. Like Chris said, we're recording on a Sunday. This will probably be out on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Our Cowboys didn't fare so well on Thursday, but still a long season.
It wasn't a bad game, though. Dak showed some good stuff. It's probably one of his best games I've seen him play in a while. So it's something to grow off of.
Back from that injury, it's a long season. It's a little bit different than the college game where every game matters. Well, even with the college game, you got room for error now with the playoffs. They got 12 people in the playoffs, but it's a long season with the NFL. Fellas, this is the time of year where sports is in full effect, and usually to kick off the sports season, you got the big fights that go on Mexican Independence Day weekend, which is going on this weekend. But before we get into that, we don't have to spend too much time on it. Just quick thoughts, because Steve brought it to my attention, and it's been on the news. The Tyson Mayweather exhibition. Actually, I want to hear Chris's thoughts on it to see what he has to say about, because I know how he feels about these exhibitions and whatnot.
These old men getting money. I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I respect both of the fighters. Tyson always said he wanted to fight Mayweather somehow, some way. It don't seem like it makes sense to me because the weight difference has to be. It's expedition fight. So, but I mean, it'll be something to watch. But Mayweather's just a little too quick for Tyson. What's he gonna do? He's barely gonna touch him. So whatever. It's another one of these. I also hear that your boy Jake might be in the ring.
Jake Paul?
Yeah, against Tank.
Oh, that's set in stone allegedly.
That's set in stone. That's true. Okay.
Yeah, it's November. Yeah, we got a lot of time to get into that.
Yeah.
so
a lot going on.
Later on down the road, we'll definitely get more into the Jake Paul Tank thing, because that's a little bit of a circus fight as well.
Well, I'm ready to come out of retirement too.
Hey, man,
if it's like this, I'm ready to come back out. Let me go do some running road work tomorrow morning and start fighting, man. I'm ready to come out too then. This is how it's gonna be.
If they're throwing around the bags, yeah.
Yeah, they're throwing the bag around. Might as well just go out there and put my,
What were your thoughts on that, the Tyson Mayweather stuff, Steve?
Well, since I've been disappointed in these past events, these exhibitions, I'm more excited for the crap talk back and forth, the press conference. Like you talked about, Tyson then had animosity against Mayweather. I think it was because Mayweather didn't put Ali in his top 5, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's ever since then, he called him a scared little man, and that's the last thing I've heard from him. And not staying off subject, few people don't like Mayweather in Uprising, as far as in Roy Jones doesn't like Mayweather too. So I guess he's putting his beef in at old age to, get some revenue. I'm not mad at him.
I mean, we all know it's going to be. We've seen an example like this a few years ago with Mayweather and Logan Paul boxing. Logan outweighed Mayweather by a lot, and Mayweather was just like a little sparring match. Mayweather threw out the jab, danced around for 6 rounds, and they both got paid, and Paul didn't get hurt. So I think that's what's going to happen with Tyson and Mayweather. Dance around, sweat a little bit, get a little workout in. Everybody gets their bag and goes home safely.
Then Roy Jones will be next.
I see that happening too. It'd be like a round robin. You know, Tyson and Roy Jones did that during the pandemic. They danced around in the ring. You know, Tyson started had a little flashbacks in that fight though. He was throwing like some heat to Roy Jones' stump, like the midsection. I'm like, Tyson must have got this just like an exhibition. And then I thought that would translate to the Jake Paul fight, and Tyson just looked terrible in that Jake Paul fight. So we'll see. We'll see. So like I said, they just throwing around the bag. So maybe you should come out of retirement, Chris.
I'm ready for it.
But
have you guys at ringside giving out the whole one by one? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, like I said, we definitely got time in the future to talk more about that. But it's coming up weekend going down in Las Vegas. I can't. This has been the first time in a while they've had it in a big stadium like this. It's going to be Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford, and this is supposed to be one of the biggest fights of the decade. So before we get into a little bit of like the actual X's and O's of it, as far as like super fights, how do y'all see this ranking in like the pantheon of super fights? Either if it's pertaining to the most recent ones or like all time.
I don't think it's that high, to be honest with you.
Really? Why not?
Because Crawford's coming up in weight pretty fast, and we haven't seen him do too much damage in that weight class to make it be anything special. Canelo has done so much in his career fighting up in these higher weight classes. The name is there, but it's just, I don't know, it doesn't really feel it's like one of those. Like it's mainstream because of it's an event that's going on today's era and they're big names, but as all-time fight greatest, I don't look at this as an all-time fight greatest, not even between each other for those two fighters.
What do you mean between the two other? Like you think?
I don't think.
Fights?
Yeah, I don't like that. That made more like I don't know if this is bigger than. I mean, on name wise, yes, Canelo, but this ain't bigger than Bud fighting. What did he fought last time? Not fought last time. Who did he beat? That made him. Yeah, Spence. I think that was a little bit more of a.
I don't know about that one.
Well, to me, I'm just saying to me because it almost feels like how I see this from Canelo's side is like he really don't even care to take this fight. And he's only taking it because of the name of Crawford. It's not a legacy fight for Canelo. Like I feel like that fight from Bud and Spence was legacy. Like whoever wins out of this one, they're gonna go to the next level. The other one's not out of those. This one's not it. Like if Canelo loses, tomorrow's is Monday. You get what I'm trying to say? Well, it doesn't have the same effect to their legacy.
So you said if either one loses, it doesn't affect the legacy.
Either Crawford, because some people because there's so many excuses here, right? Some people be like, oh, if Crawford loses, he fought, you know, Canelo's bigger than him, fought stronger people than him, and you know, because people, if when we get to it, we'll talk about that. But and then if Crawford beats Canelo, I don't see it as like, oh, he just outboxed him or something. So I don't see it like the next one's gonna go to the next level in boxing sport. I don't see that. Like as we did with Spence and Bud. That was like a defining a boxing world where we saw, all right, whoever loses this fight, one's gonna be king, the other one's not gonna be king. Like those two, it's not head to head like this.
Yeah, I mean, I get your points. I don't know. I feel like I do want to get Steve's thought on it first. Like we know Mayweather versus Pacquiao. That's like the bar as far as like super fights of the past 15 years. But right, do you think that this one is like kind of like a slot under it? Like I can't think of any other super fights in the past 15 years that, as far as name value, as big as this one. What are your thoughts, Steve?
I definitely agree with that. I would say past decade, 15 years. I think we talked about it before. The baton has switched over from, which it had it for a while in the past 10 years, this Deontay, Wilder, and Tyson. But I think this fight upcoming has more as far as popularity and people want to see. But I can kind of agree what Chris said too, because it's like in let's say a combat or a promotion, somebody goes up a weight class and they already had a lower class established. You're in new territory that hasn't been established lore or story wise, and you just got two people just messing around in heavyweight and really having, or not heavyweight, a heavier weight to establish that weight class. So it's like a I guess if they do this on this weight class, it's almost like they don't get destroyed in the weight class that they established for years, which is almost like, hey, if you beat me, it's because I've been in this new weight class. As far as a sort of way out for both fighters, maybe as far as how you feel morally after the fight. But I would definitely have to agree with that. It's just, and then as far as like the legacy fight, I don't see it as a story build up between these two like we've seen in the past with the lower heavyweight classes. Like you had a chambered up Sugar Ray Leonard, you had Robert Duran, you had all these different people in weight classes going back and forth. Tommy Hearns,
Marvin Hagler.
Yeah. And for real, it's just these two people. And so there's not like a battlefield set up for them, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't really, like you said, you haven't really had like the weight classes where, you know, they had like the heavy hitters, like Steve was talking about, all going against each other and building in. They're trying to do it a little bit for like the Tanks, the Stevensons, the Teofimos and them, but it's quite up, not on that level yet. But as far as like just like the name value, I think this is the biggest one we've seen within the past decades, except for, of course, Pacquiao and Mayweather. That's like the biggest one we've seen in the past decade. But like this is like right up there name value wise. But like Chris said earlier, it's not like a stepping stone fight. Like, you know, whoever the winner is going to come up as like that guy. It's because both of them have been in the game for so long. As far as Canelo and Crawford, it's just like, I think it's a legacy fight because whoever wins this is like have the bragging rights over each other. You know, we've seen Canelo take a few losses, so I think it probably would affect him a little bit less than it would Crawford, because right now that's basically what Crawford's legacy, a lot of Crawford's legacy right now is him being undefeated, and he was able to beat Spence and kind of take the mantle of, you know, this generation's welterweight guy. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it. It's going to be in the big stadium, like I said, where the Raiders play, so I'm curious to see the turnout of it. But as far as actual fight goes and predictions, how do you see this one playing out, Chris?
Well, I'll tell you, if it goes 12 rounds, I got Bud winning. But
really?
Bud lose by knockout.
I
don't see Canelo outboxing Bud at all.
Really? You don't see Canelo as much credentials as Canelo has? And
nope. If they go 12 rounds, Bud wins 12 rounds. I don't know how many of the 12 he wins, but he's going to win the majority of those rounds. They go 12 rounds. Canelo, to me, will have to knock him out before the 7th. I don't really see, and I only say that because Canelo don't really win a lot of rounds. He does, but, you know, he hurts his opponents and things of that nature. So he gets him out of there like that if he goes 12, right? I don't see him walking Bud down. I think Bud's going to move the ring around on him. I think he's going to get out of harm's way. I think he's just going to be complete boxer. This guy's a complete boxer. I think he's going to be in shape for this fight. If it goes 12, I don't see a decision going Canelo's way. 12 rounds.
Yeah, I want to pick your thoughts on a couple of other things, but first I want to get Steve. What do you think? Who you predicting winning this one? But before that, actually, you said if it goes Chris, you said if it goes to 12 rounds, then Bud will win. But if it doesn't, Canelo will knock him out. But who's your actual prediction of that fight?
I don't have one. That's how good these guys are. Like I can't. I'm telling you, I can't. I'm being honest. If it goes past 7 and Canelo don't knock him out, he's gonna lose. Canelo got to knock him out by 7. He got to walk him down the ring. He got to bully him up and then get that nice shot that he loves to land, that hook or the uppercut, and get him out of there. If you don't get him out of there, he's gonna lose to decision. He's not gonna outbox Bud for 12 rounds. I don't see that.
Steve, who you got in this one?
I think Crawford. They're both amazing counter punchers, but I see Crawford going in a little more after the counter with more combos, which if he doesn't get the knockout, definitely he'll get the points. I'm just trying to memorize a lot of Canelo's fights, and a lot of time he'll just stun him or get that body shot. I really haven't seen recent memory him walk somebody down for the TKO or get him a knockdown. It's more of a well-countered punch. From I remember, I've seen Crawford fight lately, and when he smells that blood, he goes in for the KO or the TKO and gets his wounded opponent out of there. I think just looking at Crawford's fights, you never seen him too much in a vulnerable state as far as like getting hurt, and neither is Canelo, and that's why Chris said, man, it's so hard to pick between the two. But I'm just gonna go off with wins and his so-called his record. I'll go with Crawford.
See, I think Canelo could actually get the decision, and this is why, because I think Crawford's gonna have the speed advantage because he's a smaller fighter. But I think even though he might outvolume him, I think Canelo might have the refs on his side. So you could be like Crawford kind of outboxes him for the majority of the round, but all Canelo has to do is get like a spurt at the end of the round. He can steal rounds just by having the power shots that I think if he hits Crawford, Crawford's going to get moved back. You'll be like, oh shit, this is, you can tell the power that he's feeling these shots, even though he might have outboxed him for the majority of his round. Canelo could steal a round just by getting these power shots off that affect Crawford, and you can see Crawford being stung by him, moved by him, stealing rounds like that. But I'm leaning more towards Chris and saying that Canelo will probably have to knock him out, but I think he can decision if he's getting these power shots versus Crawford's volume, which comes back to a question I had asked Chris earlier. You talked about it earlier about Crawford never being up at this weight class before. This is his first time fighting at 168. He was fighting at 154. He went up and got those belts, and he didn't look like, like the power translated even to 154. So how do you think it translates to 168?
And he's fighting Canelo, right? He's fighting Canelo at this. He's not fighting any old body. He's fighting Canelo. So I don't see the power getting there to knock Canelo out. That would be shocking. That would probably be the biggest shock out of everything we see next weekend if Bud knocks out Canelo. But I think he can outbox Canelo at that weight class. We've seen Canelo lose fights before. There's a blueprint to beat Canelo. We haven't seen Bud lose a fight. There's not a blueprint there. So the only way I see the blueprint for Canelo is to knock him out.
Yeah, but even the blueprint, I guess you could use the Bivol blueprint, but Bivol just bullied him. He was just the stronger fighter in there because Canelo's going up to 175. With Mayweather, that was 12 years ago.
He outboxed him. That was a boxing lesson. You watch it again. That was a boxing lesson.
I'm not making excuses with Canelo. That wasn't young Canelo. He's evolved since then.
Canelo at that time became more of a power puncher, if you ask me, but they're not really, when it comes to boxing technique, if you watch that fight, what did he learn from it? They got better from maybe a little bit more defense, but I don't think anything he learned today will help him beat Mayweather at that time. I don't think that Canelo still could beat Mayweather. I don't think Canelo at this time could beat that Mayweather. At that weight class and what they sign up for, I don't think Canelo can beat him, even with all of the experience he got right now. And that's my thing. He can beat him in 12 rounds. And if he follows that blueprint, that's the blueprint I'm thinking that Bud would take, is more that, not Bivol blueprint, more of Mayweather's blueprint. And then he got a chance.
Yeah. I think I'm picking Canelo. For some reason, I'm feeling decision on this one. I feel like he's gonna have some. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna have some home cooking on his side. Like some questionable rounds are gonna go his way. It's Mexican Independence weekend. Then they're in the stadium in Vegas. Yeah, I got Canelo winning by decision, but it's gonna be a good fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford's able to, like you said, just outbox him and get a decision. But yeah, this is why we actually have to watch the fight. We never know what happens, and I'm excited for this weekend. I'm gonna be over there in Vegas, so I have to let y'all know how it goes out there as far as like the observations, the people watching, and this is my first professional boxing match I've ever been to.
Oh, you're gonna be in the building. That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I got my ticket like a couple months ago, so yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I don't even know what to wear out there. Like I said, I've never been to a boxing match, so I'm gonna have to do my research to see what I should even wear out there. But like I said, it'll be exciting, and
I should have came with you so I can call somebody out in the crowd.
Exactly.
I gotta come out of retirement. I should have been with you.
Exactly, but we'll be back next week to report the outcome of this and see what happens. But make sure to check out for this video. This Quickie episode will be exclusively on the Belly Up Sports YouTube page, but audio will be available on all the major platforms like Spotify and Apple. But that'll do it for us here at Haymaker Combat Sports. Until next time, be safe out there. Later.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet Science MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars, cause it's live.